You feel important because you think you bring a lot to the table to help them elevate themselves, but you're actually trying to bring them to a point where you want them to be so that you feel like you accomplished something in the relationship. And then if you've accomplished that, there's nowhere else to go. And
And
then
that's
now you
why
don't,
these relationships stall out.
and that's why you don't feel important anymore. Because you feel like there's nothing else to be done. You've
And then
done
I
what
go
you
seeking a new one. So how do I get past this? Yo, Jordan, guess what, my boy?
Yo, what's going on, X?
Yo, so I asked this baddie over here to come on and join us and talk a little bit about something and some topics.
Yeah.
We know we've been
Ooh.
dying. It's been a while since we put out some content and everybody's been dying to see our faces. I apologize. It's me. It's always me. I was doing my bougie shit and was, traveling the world, trying to be
You said
big
passport,
dog.
bro? Passport, bro?
Yeah,
you said?
I was passport bro and it all. I was getting stamped and I was stamping. Wait,
Ooh,
pause. I
ooh,
wasn't
you
getting
naughty
stamped.
boy.
I wasn't getting. I wasn't getting. Wait. I wasn't getting stamped. I was stamping and my passport was getting stamped.
Okay. All right. Okay.
My bad,
sure.
Ivy. We already starting off wild and
Oh,
crazy
baby.
kids in here. Anyways, we live and we in color. So we hip, baby. So today, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Two Shades of Black. I'm Mr. Darkness, and the one down there, he the light tone. It's like my look, see?
That was dope.
See?
Hey, they like know the chosen one, baby.
The camera already likes light-skinned people. They need a little win in 2024. They got to catch up. Either way, we brought in.
Light too.
Ooh. Anyways, we brought in Miss Ivy Andrews.
Hello.
And Ivy is going to be answering some questions for us from a female point of view. Because, me and Jordan, all we got to think about is the male testosterone. That's where our point of view come in. But, Jordan down there is the softer one. I'm the more rambunctious, the more, outgoing. Yeah, all of the good stuff you can think about. But we decided to bring Miss Ivy onto the show to give us a woman's perspective on some of the topics we've already gone over. Would you like to say anything to anyone, Jordan?
Hey, people watching. I know you guys missed us. I'm excited to have Ivy here. This is going to be great. This is going to be fun. Ivy, you look amazing as always. It's always good to see you. Beautiful. Hey, and X, let's start the show. Let's get her out here. Show what she's all about, because I know she's really intelligent. Speaking with her in person, being around her, that's the homie right there. So let's go.
Big facts. All right. So, a lot of our show is typically about relationships, controversial conversations, and so forth. We know you've seen a few episodes of us. So, like some of our last one and one of our best episodes yet had to come around red flags. And red flags meaning as like relationship red flags when you're finding a potential suitor or significant other, whatever people might want to call it, however they see relationships. So, I'm coming out the gate strong. Ivy.
Who are you swinging?
I'm swinging red flag. I'm swinging for the fences and the red flags. So, Ivy.
You are a red flag.
I know I'm a red flag. I'm darkness. What are your red flags, Ivy?
My red flags are 1, being too pushy. 2, not accepting no. Even when it's a nice no, like a polite no, like a yeah.
So what you're saying is you're not like the Japanese girls who are like, oh, stop. But they're really saying, oh, please don't stop.
Those two, and then the last one, I would say a huge red flag for me is just overstepping boundaries when they've been presented. That's a big
Ivy,
one.
On this channel, I'm one who likes to push buttons a little bit, and
You don't push my buttons.
You know, I like you. You a good person, but your answers sound real liberal.
You know
Well,
what? I think that you kind of gave her the wrong red flags, though. I think let's
yeah.
ask this,
Like,
my
let-
man. So, Ivy, when we're
Wait, she
talking
don't know what we
about
talking about.
like,
Did I not set up? Did I
no,
not pitch it up right?
let me do this. Let me try.
Oh,
Let me
oh,
help. Let
that's
me
my
pitch a
fault.
little bit. So, Ivy,
Sam, right?
an example of a bad red flag when the man got about three different phones. He can't answer to one of them because if he do, his baby mom might answer, and then another one, something else might be happening. His parole officer going. We talking about those kind of red flags. So when we're
Mm.
saying red flags, Ivy, like in a guy or girl, whatever, I
There
know
go
what
his
he's going to say
liberalness.
next. No, here we go. See, don't start. Let me ask the question here because you already teed it off wrong. You threw her a foul ball. So anyway,
How do you
let's.
throw a foul
So
ball?
I mean, you know what I meant. You threw a ball.
Yeah,
So
somebody didn't play baseball.
I did play baseball. It was just a bad metaphor. You threw it out of the batter's box, okay? And it sucked. So let's try this again. So Ivy, if
Yeah.
somebody like like hiding their phone or like deleting messages, like just random stuff that is like that ain't like bro, like what you tripping over here? Like you're not being real. So like something in that realm, like pushies, we get that, but we're talking more like, damn, like that's what are you doing over there, bro?
Okay,
Like
so
you
what are
can't
red
do that.
flags in your relationships?
Okay. So I would say if I know the truth about something and I'm giving you a chance to come forward, like it's very specific when I bring it forward to like, hey, why is this uh why is this or why are you answering a phone call at like 3 in the morning? And I heard a girl's voice and whatnot and whatever. I
That's
heard you
Jen from
flirting.
State Farm.
Um,
Yeah.
and I give you a chance to answer truthfully because hey, we can talk it out like adults. I'm not a crazy, you know. But if you're going to lie to me, that is a red flag.
So
I'm
lying
giving
is a
you a
red flag.
chance. There's a reason why I'm bringing it up. There's a reason why I'm
Okay.
bringing it up because I know what's going on. So I'm giving you a chance to tell me what's right and you decide to take the wrong road, red flag number one.
But what if
If,
it's I got a
yeah,
question before we move on. So do you prefer I guess in my relationships, I like to, salvage the relationships. So sometimes I
mhm,
have to say a lie to make her feel fine or feel great. But
right.
there are also instances where the truth, yeah, though it may set me free, it's going to
Mhm.
hurt her. So
Yeah,
sometimes you got a conundrum here.
I feel like I'm not the right girl to ask about this type of stuff because one, I don't really care what you do. I'm a person who is someone who likes to be in open relationships, so I'm not jealous. Things don't bother me. I just would appreciate that you tell me what's happening. So just that I'm aware. But if you know that I've already set those boundaries as I don't care what you do, I don't care how many people you mess around with, right? This, that, like I would just appreciate that if I'm like number one, that you would put me first. Like,
But
for
that is
example,
putting you first by thinking
but
of your feelings.
for example, if there is another girl over that night, right? And I'm coming over the next day and I have to work or be there or for whatever reason I'm coming over, get her out. I know she's there. I don't care that she's there. I'm coming over, get her out. I'm on my
Thursdays is
way.
your day.
I'm on my way. Figure it out. Get her out.
Damn.
Um,
Y'all hear
but
that?
like I said, like I don't, as long as you're keeping me safe, um, with everything and I'm priority number one when it comes to either spending time or be just prioritized. Um, other than that, I don't care. I don't care what you do. I don't care where you go. I don't care. But if I'm slowly becoming not the priority, that's when I start to care. And I'm like, mm, hold on, I feel you pulling back. I feel you being a little distant. What's up? I'm doing everything I need to do on my part. I
So
feel
I
like
feel
I'm pretty open and I'm pretty lax about relationships just in general. Um,
it sounds that way. But
so
here's my question then. Have you always been that way, or is that something that now came about as you've become older and seen a lot of things in life?
yeah. I was kind of forced into an open relationship without kind of being comfortable with that. And then I kind of like took that as, oh, well, actually, this is kind of great. So then I kind of did that to my ex-husband and was like, hey, like, why don't we try this? And he
So
was doing
you turned around and forced your ex husband into an open
it
relationship.
wasn't gonna we had a conversation about, I was like, look, if you're not comfortable with it, we don't have to do it. But it was, I feel like I kind of
You
put him
already
in
made
that
the decision. You already
situation.
made the
Yeah.
decision.
Right. So
Jordan, it's like when your girlfriend come to you and be like, "Hey, I want to go out. I want to go to Steak and Shake. Where do you want to go?" Well, you already made the decision, boo boo. You just
right.
said I want to go to Steak and Shake.
Might as well get the milkshake now. You might as well
So
get the MVP milkshake, bruh.
Big facts. It's
I
like
said,
you better just order what on their menu because we going to Steak and Shake. So you had already
You get
made your
double with
decision.
fries.
So we
so
kind of
yeah, I made my decision, and because that was something that I enjoyed, but it was something that I wanted to try with him because, sorry, I'm just readjusting here because my light just went out. But yeah, so it's something that I really liked and enjoyed when I was like, I had learned to like it. I had learned to enjoy it. But it's not everybody's cup of tea, especially if you've never been, if you haven't had interest in it first, and two, if you've never been involved with something like that. It's a very trusting type of thing to be involved with.
So
Yes.
did you not see the red flag in the relationship that you was in that pushed you into the open relationship? Or
I
did you just ignore
did.
that red flag?
Here's the thing. That relationship was already toxic from the start.
Oh, so you like toxic men.
Mm, not anymore. Not,
I
that was
like
a
roller
phase.
coasters.
That was a phase.
She said you didn't ask
Yeah.
about now. If we talk about
Yeah.
Ivy back then, Ivy went
Yeah.
swimming in toxic relationships.
I was. It
Oh,
was like
Ivy
one
Phelps.
after the other. And I was like, ugh, I needed to discover myself and who I am and what I'm doing. And it was a good time in my life. I was at a good age to figure out
Experiment.
who I was. And well, I was experimenting all my life. I think it was just more of I needed to not experiment. I think it was more of like I needed to discover who I was,
All right.
not
Well,
who other people wanted me to be.
all right, Doctor Andrews here. We experimenting. So I feel like we kind of jumped the gun here a little bit. Forgive me, Jordan. We jumped a gun into the whole red flag situation. That's on me because I came up with the topic. So I kind of forced myself in there. So I'm now going to ease out with the Astroglide. So what we going what we going to talk about here is I want to kind of get a background in a little bit about where you are currently relationship wise. That way I kind of understand the dynamics, and as we go through these conversations we kind of have a foundation because we started off with red flags and toxicity and all of this other stuff, but we don't really know where you're coming from. So before we get into it, I want to kind of understand who Ivy is. Give me the elevator pitch of who Ivy is. Ready? Action.
Action. My life's a little complicated in many ways. Relationship wise, I am divorced. I have a kid, and we're co-parenting. We're living together, and we are doing very well as co-parents.
I got
Um,
questions.
he's my best friend. We realized that we were better as friends and partners in life for this child and making it as normal as possible for her to grow up. And we have definitely had our ups and downs in trying to figure it out, but I think we've finally locked it down. But we do live together. But we have different partners. So we're okay with other partners. What we're not okay with is our kids meeting new people that, or our kid meeting new people that we're not um, long term seeing, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
So we just don't want to introduce a bunch of people like it's like a free for all, you know? But I personally have a partner who I work with and kind of have a dom sub relationship and business relationship. And we make it, it's been like 2 years now, about 2 years now that we've been doing this, and it's comfortable and it's open. And obviously, like I said before, I allow him to do whatever. I don't care.
I
I'm
like how
not.
she used that word. I allow him.
Yeah, he allows
So
me as
we
well.
oh, I was gonna say we might know who the dom is in the relationship that I'm talking about.
No, no. He is definitely the dom of the relationship.
Okay, good. Because I was
But
about to call him out. No, just kidding.
for that dynamic, I have to ask permission for certain things to be done to me. But overall, it's like he has his thing. I understand that he doesn't want me crossing paths with his little girls, and people that he's known in the past, unless he introduces me and feels comfortable doing that.
That makes
So,
sense.
that's kind of where
So
I am relationship wise.
okay, so if you don't mind giving me like a backstory on, I guess I'll ask this. Don't worry, this is not going to turn into no fresh and fit conversation. I don't bash women. I love women. I like to caress women. So, but I do want to ask, what is your education level?
So we'll go down that road now. I went to ODU for a semester during
ODU.
the
That's
summer.
Old Dominion.
Dominion University, Southern Virginia.
So funny story, and then we'll get back to you. Sorry, I'm a narcissist. It's always about me. Funny thing about him, they were actually trying to recruit me out of high school,
I
and
feel like we talked about.
they were going hard on trying to get your boy.
Yeah,
And
and now they're
I was very
D1.
immature. Well, they weren't D1 at the time.
No, 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 no.
I was very
They're
immature at that point, and I laughed in the coach's face when he was like, "I want you to come play football for me." And then, like 2 years later, they beat Virginia Tech.
That was big. That was big.
But yes,
But yeah,
sorry. Go ahead. You went to ODU.
started there first semester. I went there in honors college. It was a very very high GPA coming out of high school, 4.2 GPA. And it was an honors college, and it was a lot of pressure. I joined a sorority, and no college should let any freshman their first semester join the sorority. Had a panic attack second semester because I was like, I have to keep my GPA up and I have to get all these classes and I want to graduate early and blah, blah, blah. I was an overachiever. So I kind of put
What
myself
sorority were
into,
you in?
I was in Alpha Z Delta. Hey,
I
hey.
got kicked out of my fraternity, so I always like
Uh,
to ask
if
people.
they knew, they probably kicked me out too. um, but so the second semester had a panic attack before the semester even started. I told my mom, I was like, well, I want to be a baker anyways. I'm going for business so that I can start a business and blah, blah, blah. So I'm just going to go to culinary school. And she's like, well, we've already paid for a second semester, so you're going. And I was like, cool. I'm only going to go to the classes I want to go to. I'm going to drop the ones that I really don't care about. And then I'm going to go to culinary school. I'm going to take the summer off and then fall and then start in the spring. So had a lot of time, worked in the middle of that, and was back home. And went to culinary school, got my associates in baking and pastry,
I
and
know you
immediately
out
started
here.
working.
You got some cakes on
I'm
this
your
cake. Oh,
stepdad.
I'm sorry. I forgot where we was at. I'm over here
Yeah.
talking about cakes.
Well, time out, time out. Hold on,
I
hold on,
apologize,
hold on,
crowd.
Ivy.
I
Ivy,
apologize.
I love you,
Whoa.
girl. I love you. But the cooking thing, that's my thing on the show. I can't let
Uh-huh.
you cook.
I've already. I'm
You
sorry.
can't. I can't let you
Associates
cook.
in baking and pastry, sir.
I can't let you cook. I got to do it. Like when you
Yeah,
say
Jordan.
something
Though
cool, that's when I'll
You're
let you
not
cook. I'll
whisking
let you cook.
correctly. You're not whisking right. It has to
Huh?
be quicker.
Oh, you know what to do with those hands, huh?
You gotta flick the wrist a little bit more.
A flick of the wrist. All
Flick of
right.
the
So
wrist. Flick of
what are
the
you
finger.
chewing on? That candy?
What you doing?
eat candy.
I mean, baby. Ooh, I ain't
Okay,
What kind of
eating.
candy
so
is that?
it's
So
Taiwanese candy. Um, I'm by
got
myself.
I'm
I
my
ain't.
assuming I
I'm
shipped it
associates.
yet. By the way.
look.
Got my
I'm
associates.
I'm I'm by myself. I ain't eating no honey pack right now. Anyway, so what I mean is this. I appreciate you giving us the background of your collegiate level. I mean, your collegiate, your collegiate experience. So
Mhm.
let's jump back into it.
Right.
You've gone through college. You was in sororities. You were in the sorority. You left the. So, what was your best experience in your freshman year of sorority? Because I know most freshmen when they come into sorority and they do their freshman year. That's when they go from Miss Innocent to I got I got to mature quickly.
Oh, that I went in there a freak. I was. I feel like I can't even say how. I can't even say how when it started. Um, but yeah, I was engaged going into college.
Where you was born?
Oh.
What you was a country
Toxic,
bumpkin?
toxic relationship number one. I was leaving for college and he didn't want me doing anything, so he got engaged to me. Mm,
Damn. Mm.
locked me down before I left. And at the time, I had not started any open relationships ever. I was very like one man, one woman. Like I'm not gonna nothing. I was very faithful. I'm a Scorpio, so if I'm devoted to someone, like I'm ride or die.
Hey, high five! I'm a Scorpio.
So I mean, like I'll be down for you. I'll respect your boundaries. I'll respect what you ask me to do. All I ask in return is that you respect me in the same way. And he wasn't. He was messing around while I was out of town,
Huh?
and got mad and jealous and gaslit me for his indiscretions and for his guilt was brought on me. Like I was messing around and doing stuff. So
Okay.
there
So
was that.
basically, what it sounds like you was dating a bunch of ain't shit motherfuckers.
He definitely ain't shit. I met him at Burger King. He definitely was not shit.
And you know
Met
what?
him
That
at Burger
motherfucker took it the long way. Talking about I'm gonna have it my way.
I worked at this job for fun because my friend worked there, and it was my senior year of high school. It was like I have two jobs. I had a job at a car wash, which I loved, and I had most hours at, and I was making a lot of money there. So I was like,
At the car
I
wash?
was, yeah, girl.
Damn, them soap suds was working like that, girl.
Well, I
Anyway,
worked as a cashier. Anybody that I mean, if you've ever worked at a car wash, you know the tips that are given at a car
yeah,
wash,
yeah,
and
you're
on a
right.
weekend, I was balling for a high
I
schooler.
worked at a car wash during college. I mean, they didn't really tip that well, but I used to take the change out of their car.
Mhm. Well, we didn't go in people's cars for that reason because we had too many people tell us that we were taking their change.
I was taking
So
the change. And you'd find me at the local coin store the next day.
but no, I think on a weekend I could make a good $500 just for sitting at the cashier's register,
Mm.
doing nothing, sitting
What
on
kind
the
of
booth.
car wash is this?
One in Northern Virginia.
Northern Virginia.
Yeah, we don't do it up north.
That's where all the government and military people at. Unless you talk about Norfolk.
No, no, no. That's no, no,
Norfolk.
no. That's Southern
No,
Virginia, sweetheart.
we don't go to Norfolk.
All right. So, because you was messing around with all these guys, here's what I'm curious about with the dating world.
Well, I can
Partners,
tell you why. I can tell you why.
you was young and naive. We got that.
I was young and naive and impressionable, but here's the thing: is that I was doing things that no other girl were doing in my grade, so people were intimidated by me because I was a little farther along in experience. I was a big personality. People kind of were intimidated by how I was dominant in approaching other guys and being like, "I like you," and like I would flirt openly with them, and
you knew your shit didn't stink. That's exactly what it was.
Because they knew I thought I was a hoe down on the low, but apparently was not. Because once you do the deed with someone on a sports team, everybody knows. Everybody on a sports team, everybody knows. I thought I was a hoe on the low.
You've never been in a boy locker room. You never seen the scoreboard.
Apparently not. But guys were intimidated by that because they thought, well, if she has this experience and she has experience with this guy, and I've seen them in the locker room.
I'm not measuring up.
Yeah, I'm not measuring up in many different levels. So at the time, no one would ask me to homecoming. No one would ask me to prom. No one would ask me to anything. And I thought just people didn't like me. So I was like, okay, well, anybody who's going to give me attention, I'm gonna jump at it because nobody else would give me that type of attention because apparently, and it wasn't told to me that I was an intimidating personality.
Well, I get that. You are a little bit sometimes. When I first met you, you was in my face,
now,
and I was like,
now I'm a switch. So I mean, it kind of works into how I am today. But coming to the realization that I don't need to perform or act a certain way to please somebody else.
It gets down to my question then. So thank you for going into deep into the naive lifestyle of yours and the type of men and how it led to that. And you was a very experienced individual. So then, because you were an experienced individual, your partner's ideology aligning when you're dating. Mm-hmm. Obviously, when you was younger, it didn't matter much. But now as you grew older, let's dive into that.
Mm-hmm. How so?
Oh, I guess I got to give you a little bit more context.
Yeah,
So as far as like partner ideology, do you think it's important for your ideologies to align? Do you think opposites may attract? How do you kind of look for alignment, or in some cases, how do you kind of look when you're looking for a potential date? Sorry, Jordan. I guess you should jump in. God damn. You know what? It's Jordan's turn to lead, everybody. Go ahead, Jordan. You over here yawning on my screen.
Yawning doesn't mean you're tired. It just means lack of
Don't give me that BS. Don't give me that BS.
Lack of oxygen, sir. I need to.
He over here. He trying to bullshit a bullshitter. He trying to bullshit a bullshitter. Okay,
sorry,
Jordan.
I think it was your turn to speak. You wanna tell us about
your
ideologies, Ivy, instead of trying to make fun of me? Thank you. Go ahead.
I would say, and just speaking from my point of how I deal with relationships, I feel like I'm a little bit more jump head first into things instead of like, oh, let me feel them out. I'm just like, this is what I want. This is what I'm here to do. Yes or no? And it's like, yes, no, okay, no worries. Like, don't want to waste your time. I don't want you to waste my time. Yes. Okay, let's try it out. Let's see how this goes. Oh, it's not working. Like I would be upfront with you. Before, I used to be a very big people pleaser in the fact that I learned it from my mom. And yeah, I learned it from my mom, and
that's not a good thing to learn from your mama, but okay.
And I learned it from my environment of growing up, and like, okay, you just kind of, you let it go and then you just move on, because that's how my household was. I'm Italian. My parents are Italian. You never say you're sorry. You just ignore the fact that it happened and you just continue on with your day like it didn't. So when I was going into relationships, it was okay. They're nice now, but the nice is nice. But when it's bad, it's bad. But you kind of just forget about it and you just move on and you just kind of put up with it. And that's how I got in these toxic relationships, and that's how I kind of just put up for it. Because these toxic relationships, I was in there for like 3 years per toxic relationship, and I went from one to the next to the next, and I didn't know any better because I never took the time to take a break to discover who I was and what I wanted until I moved away to Arizona. I totally disconnected from
Ivy,
what my
with
home
the
life.
ideologies that you have, like with them, like now with this person that you have as a partner for like 2 years,
Mhm.
what is making that work? And like, let's just say, and I want you to give us an example of something where like you guys see differently, but you
Mhm.
like it didn't hinder the relationship.
Um, he's not as open as me with other people. I would say
Can you
that
elaborate a little bit?
I'm a strong personality. People know what I do.
Hmm.
People know how I am, and I don't hold back. I have an
Hmm.
resting bitch face, and you know exactly how I feel about you when
I
we're in a
haven't seen the
conversation.
resting bitch face, but
Um,
maybe it's to a complete stranger.
Sometimes I just walk
Yeah.
around like that and people think I'm unfriendly. But if I'm sitting at a table, I'm the type of person to not be able to hide my emotion on my face. I'm a very like, okay, this person's being fake. This person, like, I already know who you are. I already know how you are and just how you're acting and just how you're interacting. So that's gotten me in trouble sometimes. But I would say that he is more people pleaser, um in the sense of he likes to present himself in a way that is a higher stature,
I
and
get that.
to get better respect from others, which I respect because I'm a like carefree, don't give a fuck kind of girl. And it's like you said, like opposites attract in that way, but in the bedroom it is very much aligned. So
Okay.
I would say that opposites do attract. You need to have that yin to your yang, someone that can kind of bring you
Feel
back,
that.
and someone that can kind of like give that boundary that you can't give yourself. Because when you're just alone and you're single and you're doing whatever, you're like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. I can do whatever I want. I'm gonna be this person, blah blah blah. And you don't have anybody to hold you back or restrain certain things that you probably should be
Right.
restraining yourself in a
So here,
respectful manner, but in like a cohesive manner, you
no,
know?
and I get that. And I only say this because I feel like there are me being raised traditionally in the southern atmosphere. I get that feeling like sometimes you got to put out this certain persona
Yeah,
to the world that you
good.
stand still. But it wasn't really until I grew up that I started to get the I don't I ID what is it IDAF
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
now I live my life by that for the most part.
It's very freeing. It's very freeing to be like, this is a stranger that I've just met. I'm going to be myself. And if this person doesn't like who I am and doesn't want to be a part of my life, that's fine. Because
And
that's good because then I don't have to perform for you. I'm not a performer. I don't want to give you a persona of myself that's not me, and now I have to be that every time I see you, and I have
and I
to
feel that
act
way
accordingly.
about Jordan sometimes too, because I feel like with Jordan gets upset sometimes because when he's around me, I'm a little outrageous, untamable. Like I could be sitting at a table full of people that we're complete strangers, and I blurt out I eat ass, and you see Jordan's face of embarrassment. Like really,
But here's the thing:
No,
is
it's
that
more so like you're gonna put me in that bad position.
my partner likes to do that because he's a jokester, and I like funny people, and I
but I
like
wasn't
that.
joking.
That's
No,
fine.
he
I eat
no,
ass.
he's the type of person that I will be sitting here and talking shit to somebody. Next thing you know, I'm like, why are we fighting today, bro? And it's just like, I already know, like, we gonna have to whoop some ass for no reason. And then it's like, bro, like, you gonna make me fight the guy that's 6'6", 250. And it's like, I don't want to do that. Like that wasn't on the bingo card today. But
Yeah.
his, tempered ass, you're like, oh man, that's why you can't breathe up there, bitch, mother. I'm like, here we go.
Are you gonna fight him, or because you're not gonna do this to make me fight him?
And then
Oh,
he'll be like, I'll be right back. And then I'm like sitting there like this, like,
Damn
I
it.
mean, what do
I
you?
wouldn't leave
I
him
didn't
out to
say it. He did.
dry. I wouldn't leave him out to dry. It's just sometimes I just hope he run faster than me.
Man.
But okay, Jordan, you
Right,
tackle
let's
the
go
next
to the next
topic.
thing. So, Miss Ivy, when we're talking about these relationships and the way we like work together with your significant other,
Mhm.
when you're looking at it from a different standpoint, let's just say as you're being single, right, or like someone's looking for something. Where do
Mhm.
you think the value of emotional intelligence and vulnerability lies in that person?
Um, I would say, especially being able to discover myself, I want that
Hmm.
for others because it was such a revelation to me, and it made me more comfortable with myself and with others and with social situations and just regular life and dealing with family and friends and whatnot. Because I was a very reactive type of person because I was that like always on edge type of relationship. And I feel like people's emotional intelligence plays a big part of how long a relationship will last and how people learn to be in a relationship.
Hmm.
Because some people want to fix other people that don't want to be fixed. And and that gets them in a situation where they feel like, okay, well, if this relationship ends and they go with another person and then then they're willing to accept after they've left, then it's like, damn it, I did all this work on this person and now this new person gets to enjoy what I've
What
done.
you made?
Right.
Yeah.
Goddamn right, and that shit pisses me off.
So I've
Whoa,
learned
whoa,
that
buddy, relax.
Sorry, she
because
touching. She touching right now.
I
We did just talk about that.
I've
Go
been
ahead,
in
Ivy.
relationships in the past where I've tried to be the fixer. And it's not necessarily they've changed and moved with someone else and they got the better person because they were still a piece of shit. But you can't fix people that don't aren't willing to change or open to change. And most of the time, if you try to change somebody, that's how your relationship ends.
Yeah.
Trying to mold them to be the person you want them to be instead of the person they are.
So then, my question then begs: have you ever dated an emotionally intelligent individual?
Yes.
And what is your thoughts on dating someone that's emotionally intelligent? Or actually,
Knowing.
before you dive into that, give me
Uh-huh.
your definition of what you believe it's emotionally intelligent, or what it might mean to you.
I would say emotional intelligence is being able to realize when you're wrong and admit it. Realize that not everybody has the same feelings of things that you do. So something that you might think is outrageous may not be as outrageous to another person. So your emotion needs to not only take in part what you're feeling, but also looking at the other side and being like, okay, let's take a step back. Let's If we're both heated right now, like nothing is going to go anywhere. We're just going to continue to go at it until something is said that we shouldn't probably say. So let's separate, let's take a breath, let's just think about it. And not think, oh, I was right about this. Oh, I should have said that. Oh, that was a good thing I should have said. Instead, just be like, okay, what are we actually fighting about right now? Is it one that serious? Why did it escalate that way? Figuring out, okay, I'm mad, I didn't eat, I something happened during the day and I'm blowing it out of proportion. And then when you join back together, to be able to be like, you know what, you're right. Like I'm sorry for my part of it. And not the, oh well, you do that, or yeah, well, when this happens, like, you do, like, no, that's not going to be productive. Having a productive
Okay.
conversation is when you come back together after taking that step back and being like, look, I'm sorry for my part. I'm sorry for saying this. I'm sorry for acting like this. I'm sorry for raising my voice. I'm sorry that that got to that extent.
But that's
Um,
not toxic though. So
no,
is
it's
that
not
really what you now
toxic.
look for in a guy?
I look for someone who is able to say sorry about things and kind of set the tone of like, okay, you're right. I need to now apologize for my part of this.
Okay.
Because I used to always be like,
Ivy.
yeah, you're right. You're wrong. You're wrong. And then
So
I
so
wouldn't
to
even
go
start.
so to go into like the second part of that, when we're
Hmm.
talking about admitting that they're wrong,
Yeah.
does a man's you sit here and say that, like, how do you feel about a man's vulnerability, being able to admit those things, admit that they're sad, they're upset? Does that play in a part of the relationship? Does that make you feel like, is he weak? Is he strong if he can admit those things when he's being vulnerable and open to you?
So
And
here's
what,
the thing.
oh, before you answer,
Uh-huh.
and what is the thresh between, for you, in your opinion, between vulnerable and telling you how they feel and then them turning into just a whiner weakling? There has to be a
Well,
thresh. So I'm curious on that part too. Sorry, Jordan.
I was literally about to go right into that because I was like, the reason part of the reason why I got a divorce was because everything was emotional to a point that I was like, dude, come on again, Jesus Christ. Like,
So you don't like an emotional guy. You don't like
I
a
like an emotional guy that can control his emotion and be emotional in appropriate times, not every single time we get into an argument that it is so emotional. Because you need to be able to regulate that. Not everything is a catastrophe. Not everything is to a level 100 emotional standpoint. You need to be able to regulate emotion appropriately for both sides. Like, no one likes a whiny girl. No one likes someone
well,
that's always like, oh, you were texting this
well,
guy
if she
and we were trying
Korean
to.
or she got that she Japanese and she got that that's a
But
little different. That's a
This is
little
why we can't
different.
have guests. This is why we
be
can't
able
have
to
guests on here, bro.
you need to be able to regulate how you show emotion. I don't think it's weak until you do
Okay.
it too much. There is a
Okay, perfect.
too much.
But what is too much for you?
Too much is
From a
like,
female's perspective.
Or
I would
well, she can
say
only
every
speak from her experience though,
right,
because
right.
every
I mean,
female's gonna have
She
a
right,
said, but
different
she
right.
thresh.
said both.
I
She
have
said
two
both though. She
experiences
said
of this in
a
my life
whiny
though,
female and
because
male.
I do have experience of this in my life because as a bisexual woman, you do deal with um, both sides of a relationship, either with a woman or a man, because women can get very emotional, but that emotion is very different for how emotional a man gets. But the emotion and too much emotion can be very similar in the way of naggy or like always like micromanagey or just everything has to be a fight about everything. And it's like, come on. Like, that's exhausting. That's emotionally exhausting and taxing. I'm at a point where I'm just numb to every time it happens now. I'm just like, oh, again. Like, there is a point that you get emotionally numb to the
I
point
get
where
you.
you're like,
So
again, another thing, another thing. Come on.
so let me ask you this then. In this case, let me paint this scenario, and I guess it's a hypothetical. So but I want to have your true opinion on it.
Yeah.
When it comes down to the vulnerability side of relationships, say for example, your man has always been a strong individual really
Mhm.
doesn't show like a softer side, things like
Right.
that. Then all of a sudden he changes into, okay, I'm going to attempt to open up to you in
Mhm.
regards to my vulnerabilities.
Right. I think that's very
When
strong. I think it's very strong when a man opens up and being vulnerable, especially when they've put that wall up for so long. Because it's like, okay, you're comfortable with me now. You're comfortable with me to show your emotion, but there is too much, like we talked about. There is too much where it's like either every day or every situation and whatever. Opening up from being blocked off is welcomed. You never want to be like, oh God, you're being so emotional over this. Because
but isn't that
that's
what
something they've put up inside them because they've never been able to do that with others because they feel it's weak or because their environment that they've been brought up with
But
is
aren't you
like
in return doing that back though? Because you're now saying you're too emotional, which is then going to bring them back to them not wanting to express that anymore.
no, because I feel like those emotional people are emotional from the start. There is no like turning point from someone who's been guarded that they just all of a sudden start being really, really emotional. That doesn't happen. I've been in so many relationships where people have been very guarded and never opened up. I've been in relationships where people were from the jump emotional and I knew what I was getting into. It just got emotionally taxing for me because I'm such a blase, like go with
But
the flow type
if you're
person.
loving this individual, if you say you love this individual, shouldn't you be there for them even at their most vulnerable part, even if they are overly emotional?
Depends on if the relationship is copacetic. Like if you are giving and taking and there is an equal part to that relationship and what you're giving and what you're getting. If one person is giving a lot and this person's not and they're being emotional, it's like I'm doing the most that I possibly can to keep this going, but you are not
Mhm.
meeting me to where I need you to be emotionally,
Gotcha.
intelligently. If you are up here and I'm down here, this person is going to get emotionally taxed by you because you're not meeting them. They're trying to set an example for you and you're not getting it. Like they're
Okay.
trying to set the example for you of how they are emotional and how they deal with your emotion, but you can't it's like when you're putting up that facade of like, oh, everything's fine, like this is fine. It's not. It's not. And there's only so much that you can take of that until you're just like, I'm fucking done. And I've been there so many times with these toxic relationships where it's just like, God, I'm exhausted doing this every day. The up and the down and the up. I'm literally emotionally taxed to the point where I'm just like, numb. Like now everything you do is just, ugh. Like, I'm annoyed by it. Like I
So
can't,
that's a good segue right there.
yeah.
So our next topic would be based off of your divorce and your past relationships. Is love unconditional or conditional?
Conditional. I would say it is conditional. I would say there unconditional love is some is a
Do
part
you even believe
of
it? Do you even think unconditional love exists?
yes, yes.
Bullshit.
Because if someone is putting the effort into your friendship, not your relationship, but your friendship as two people in this world, and your respect for each other, whether you are together or not, is unconditional. You have unconditional love for your best friend. They may do the
Oh, this
worst.
is strictly with your partner, is what I'm meaning for
Yes, but
unconditional.
your partner is also your friend. You can't
Is
be
it though
with
in
them
today's
in a relationship.
society? How many relationships breaks up and they don't even talk to that individual anymore?
That's not an unconditional friendship. And that's not an unconditional love. That is a situational and conditional love. The condition was they were together in a relationship. The
So
condition was they were together as partners in this time of frame of their life. That was not unconditional because they're no longer friends.
So I guess here's my take on it. We had one of my friends who commented and said the same thing, but I look at it as there's no such thing as the ability to love unconditionally. There are conditions set upon relationships that if we follow those, our love stays alive.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as you step outside those conditions,
mm-hmm.
we have friction. And when we have friction, this can be very detrimental to our love. So for me, it's unconditional until your next fuck up. So in other words, it's still conditional.
I feel like it's because people don't believe in unconditional love because they've never met a person who they respect to a manner where it's like we can be together or not, but
I beg to differ.
I respect how you treat others. I respect how you live your life and how you approach others and how what your heart is, how you want to treat others because of how you were treated when you were in a different environment.
It's okay to
And
say you're a sappy person.
it's
He's
not
mad that she's
that,
not agreeing with you 100%.
it's not
Hey, you
that
sit back in the back and let us have this conversation.
I would say you don't believe in unconditional love until you found a person who has love for others that they might not realize themselves, and their humbleness in it and their not being able to realize. What are you eating back there, Jordan? Everybody's eating
He told me
something.
not to say anything. I'm just going to eat some gum.
But I would say you haven't met that person yet that you can believe in
Oh,
the
I've met them, and I still believe the same way.
Then you haven't met them.
You're fucked up.
Then you haven't met them.
How'd you know
I
I was
thought
fucked up?
everybody was the same.
He's
I thought
broken.
everybody was like a play or whatever, blah, 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 blah.
No, and I don't mean it as like
Everybody's
everybody.
worried about themselves. Everybody is self-consumed in what they need to do and how to elevate themselves. And not everybody is like that. And there's very few and far between people out there that are not consumed with elevating themselves, but helping other people elevate themselves.
Mm-hmm. It's
What
called
you
Last
mean?
of the Mohegans.
No, I still date people to the simple fact I need to elevate them. Just like you said before, I'm a fixer.
But it's not
Okay, Bob the
someone,
Builder.
it's not a personality or a trait that someone is like, I'm a fixer. I'm here to fix others. I'm here to be the savior, right? It's the
Sorry, let
person
me
that
rephrase
does
that.
it.
Others likes to date me because I elevate them.
But do you feel
They don't wanna
emotionally
date you.
taxed doing that?
Absolutely not. It makes me feel more important.
Makes you feel more
No,
important because you feel like that's the
Ivy,
only
don't listen to him.
No,
Ivy,
no, no.
stop talking to him.
I want to ask this question. Do you feel like that's the only way you can feel important?
Absolutely not.
How other what other ways do you feel like you don't feel important in a relationship other than the things that you think you bring to the table?
So maybe we just look at things a little different. For me, I guess I could be damaged goods because I look at it as from a woman. If I'm not bringing value to this relationship, like continuously building, continuously bringing more intelligence into the relationship, keeping them peaked, keeping their interest peaked, it becomes dull. And when it becomes dull, like anybody, you go look for the next shiny toy. So it may be my damaged soul that I go out and look for the most broken person, so that it's a long way until they get to the same level as me. I don't look at it as emotionally taxing. I look at it as creating the largest gap so that I can stay with them the longest before they end up that I ain't shit and then they leave me.
And
Oh God.
do you remain friends afterwards?
No,
No.
No. Does it feel
nah,
like
it's
wasted
lonely
time?
out here.
Does it feel like wasted time by
Would
doing
suffer.
that? And then
It
it's
is
not
wasted time because
something?
now I done built the girl of my dreams. I'm over here
Love
being
the bitch.
Frankenstein, and next thing you know, the bride of Frankenstein goes and walks off to somebody else, and it's like, I guess it is emotionally toxic. Oh, and then I get under
And
did I
now
have a
listen to
breakthrough?
this. And now listen to this.
Yeah.
Because it's so emotionally taxing for you, imagine the other side. Take a step back. Imagine, do you micromanage? Do you constantly get on them about things? Do you constantly try to push them to do things that they maybe not like being in the mood to do, or they just kind of need
Yeah,
to take a step back because they're being too overstimulated, or it's just too much all
yeah.
at one time, and then maybe they
How do
feel
you
like,
feel about that, Jordan?
I mean, she brings up a good point. I think that for me, it's like I'm the same way with my situation. I want mine to grow to be better, and I think it's not for the weak. You know, like if you want to, like, I'm not build a bitch like X here, but I am somebody who's like,
Why do
how
you
can
think
I
I go to
make my
other
significant
countries to
other
get
better?
mine?
All right, well, let me finish, Mister Sir, Mister Creative Player. So what I'm saying, Ivy, is for me, it's like, all right, I want my person next to me to be great. And
mhm,
I don't, there's like a level to it. It's not about like being great on what I think. I just think there's a level of you're not hitting your potential. And I think a lot of times, like somebody like yourself who may have been in like some type of toxic situation, or someone who doesn't see the value in you, when someone sees the value, it's like, it's harder for someone else to like pull it out of you, right? Like, hey, look, you may
Pause.
be worth only 5 million. No pause. Pull it out. Pull it all out. Um, so,
keep it
so
in.
you, so it's like you may be like, all right, I'm worth 5 million, right? But
Mhm,
in reality, you're actually worth 20. But you're
mhm,
only putting out the effort of 2 million. And
mhm.
my thing in my relationship for me is, how do I get you to that plateau? And it's
Right.
not about like trying to give it a project. And you're right, sometimes it can be taxing, because I can sit here and tell you, like, mine's be like, yo, like, why are you on my balls like this? I'm like, no, I'm not on you like that. I just know there's more to you than what you're already doing. And some
Mhm,
people, like you said, ain't ready or not built for that. And it's
mhm,
like, I guess that's where you see who is really invested in you and who's not really willing to go to that next level, because it's like, you want to be a boss together. It's like, I mean, you could be building a girl like, no, like X over here,
mhm,
but at the same time, it's like, all right, I want to be able to build my person that if something happens to me, it can help bring me back up too. You know,
mhm.
and we work as a team, and I think that's the cohesive team and unit that you need in a relationship.
100%. And I feel like man and woman, you need to be able to find yourself emotionally first before you can accept somebody else's love and accept somebody else's help. Because if you are broken and you've only known someone who manipulates you to do what you want, you have to think about it that way. Is there's a lot of men who have manipulated women to be who they want to be, like me. I was manipulated into being in an open relationship. I was manipulated
Damn.
to need and want to do it. I was manipulated into um a lot of things. And when I met somebody who wanted to help, it was like, okay, what's the catch? What's the catch
Yeah.
here? What are you trying to manipulate me to be and do? And then it's a little bit of like a defense of like, okay, I'm not going to let somebody else do this to me. So there's going to be some hesitation and some pushback until they've discovered themselves emotionally, until they've been like, okay, this is not a manipulation. This is like they are trying to help me be a better person, but I need to figure that out myself. They can't tell, it doesn't matter how many words you spit at me. My heart and my emotion and my brain and what I've been conditioned to know and do and feel and defend myself with is what I know from past situations, past environments, past anything. And you
Mhm.
can't do that until you've been on your own for a little bit of time and really like lived life by yourself and like been like, okay, that's not what I want. That's not what I want. This is something I need to ease into. But if you've got a lot of emotional damage and emotional damage baggage, you can never fully dive into a relationship because you have those things holding you back. That
Wait,
makes
does
sense.
that mean I'm a manipulator and I
If
Yeah.
you if you here's the
Oh,
thing, if you speak things into the
yeah.
reality, that's what you are. If that's how you present yourself and that's how you speak about
But
yourself,
here's
that's
the
how
thing though. I think
you
it's a
are.
thin line between being a manipulator and someone who's trying to actually help them. Because at the end of the day, that thin line is it more for them or is it for your self-interest?
Right. Right. Are you actually trying to be helpful to elevate them and to help them be who they want to be? Or are you trying to make them into a person who you want them to be?
And I think this is where I come to the conclusion that I am a manipulator. Because that's the only reason that I go to these other countries because I could build them up.
All right. I think
But
it's time for this episode to end before we get canceled.
no, we ain't getting canceled because at the end of the day, there's a lot of it, and that is the borderline of what Passport Bros is if you really look at it.
But
Yeah,
here's the thing is that you need to be able to emotionally explore yourself and be like, damn, I am a manipulator. Like,
He
do
knows
I
he
want to
is.
be do I want to continue to be that way? Do I want to live
that's
my
the
life
only
that
way I
way?
know how to be.
It's not. It's not.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
not.
It is. That's all
It's
he knows.
it's what you're comfortable with. It's what you're
Oh,
comfortable being
but see,
because
you
that
say comfortable, but I enjoy putting myself out in situations where I'm not comfortable.
okay,
Could you be comfortable in the uncomfortable?
but situations and relationships are very different. Situations where you're doing a photography shoot and you've never done a certain type of shoot before, that's an uncomfortable situation. Being manipulative in a relationship to get what you want
You
is
try
different.
you try being a manipulator in a different language. It ain't that easy.
But what I'm saying is, it's like, do you want
Cut
to
it,
be this
baby.
person? Do you like how your relationships go by being this person?
So
Do you like how
I
they
guess
progress?
I
Do you
guess it's
like
my
how you
time to get on the
interact?
couch. So, Dr. Andrew in session. So for me, I guess what I'll say in this matter, don't you judge me, Jordan. For me,
We
I look at
listen, we don't judge.
oh no, I judge. Um the thing about it is, and I guess I'm coming to a self-realization, is that I do date a lot of individuals for the simple fact that shit, I never looked at it this way. It's how I build my importance.
Hmm. That's how you feel important in a relationship. You feel important because you think you bring a lot to the table to help them elevate themselves, but you're actually trying to bring them to a point where you want them to be so that you feel like you accomplished something in the relationship. And then if you've accomplished that, there's nowhere else to go. And
And
then
that's
now you
why
don't,
these relationships stall out.
and that's why you don't feel important anymore
Shit.
because you feel like there's nothing else to be done. You've
And then
done
I
what
go
you
seeking a new one, a new
Mhm.
project. So how do I get past this?
You
Is that
need, like
above
I
your pay
said,
grade?
no, I would say For me, I've been through a lot of situations that I wish upon nobody, but they've taught me a lot of lessons. Do you want to be that person? Is that how you want to live the rest of your life?
I
Find
think you're
somebody
alone.
that you don't need to fix.
And that
Find
has
them.
been my biggest issue. Me and Jordan had that conversation in one of our episodes. Because, like, I don't know if I'm living, how can I put it, like a facade of, I used to be able to date women that were lawyers, doctors, and everything else that I didn't have to elevate. They already had their journey. They already had their game plan of what they needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know when I got off of that bus and now I'm here and I feel like I need to elevate people to where I and
well,
I
then
don't know.
that role has been switched now. You're dating lawyers, you're dating doctors, you're dating people who
Not now. This was in the past.
But listen, think about it. If you were dating those people that were on a level that you thought you were at, did they think that you were on that same level as them?
Were they
Were
fixing
they
me?
Mold you.
were they the fixers for you?
I don't
They
Did
think
mold
they
they
you.
were.
Oh, have you got you thinking?
did they did
I need
they
therapy. I need
We've
therapy.
been saying that. I
I
told you
need
that like
therapy,
2
y'all.
weeks ago.
And
I
this is
said
what
you
I'm
need
talking
help.
about, the emotional intelligence of stepping back and being like, okay, this is how I am. I am the manipulator, I'm the fixer, I'm the whatever, this is how I feel important. What happened? When did that happen? When did that start happening where you felt like you needed to show your importance to be important in a relationship? You needed to show your stature. You needed to show your that you could be the teacher. Who was your teacher? Who made you feel like that's something that needed to be? Was it a parent? Was it a past relationship?
It was my past relationship when she broke up with me because I wasn't where she expected me to be.
So now
And
you look for
since
people that
then,
you to elevate to you because
oh shit!
you
We got a breakthrough. We got a breakthrough. Oh my god! I just
and
came to
that,
that
my friend, is
realization.
being emotionally intelligent.
Well, I knew I was emotionally intelligent. I'm just damaged too.
But being able to come to the realization of like, this is not who I want to be, and this is not who I have to be, because it is emotionally taxing for me, and that's why my relationships don't work.
Okay. Do Jordan now. Do Jordan now.
You can only do it if someone wants it. Do you want it?
There ain't nothing to do here.
Yes, do Jordan now. Do Jordan.
Legendary Super Saiyan. This is the Super Saiyan here. There ain't nothing to do here.
That should tell you all with the way he just said
Dr.
that.
Ivy Andrews.
You're right. You don't need to fix anything, John. You're fine.
Exactly. I'm great. I'm like,
Now he sounds like me, y'all. Oh,
Perfect.
no, you
okay.
need help. We've been said that.
Oh, I know I need. I know I need help.
We said that from episode 1.
Yeah.
You see it, some IBM.
Boy. Miss Andrew done came up in here and opened up some doors. Now I gotta Now I gotta go back and look at all of the type of girls I've been pursuing.
And are those the girls you want to be pursuing? And are they? Are they
No,
truly?
but I've always felt like I was settling down for them anyways. Maybe I'm a hopeless romantic at heart, but I just play this facade like I'm Big Bad Wolf.
Our society has told us that one person with one person is how we need to be, and that's how we need to grow, and you need to be complacent, and that's how you end your life.
But when you're grown, you were raised in Virginia. That's considered like
expectancy in the past was like what, 30 years old, 35. And so you got married, you got a job, you had kids, you stayed with your wife forever, and no separation, church and state there.
Die of tuberculosis.
And you die, and that's it. because you weren't expected to live that long. So now you need to procreate and you need to put people into the world. And now we're in a different space and a different time where it's like we're living to like 110. Like we
Not us
got
black folks.
time.
Speak for your white self.
I'm saying like there's
We
a
still at the
time,
bottom of the barrel.
but here's the,
I'm at
but
like.
your life expectancy is still doubled, tripled.
Did
You
it though?
know, yeah,
The black
yeah.
male is supposed to die at the
And,
age of 57 on average.
but I know a lot of black people who are 80, 90. Like there's a lot of like it's very
There's always
situational. It's very
outliers.
how you live your life. It's very how you like there is like different like things that happen in your life that change that life expectancy. But
Ivy, I have 20 years left to live.
don't think like that. Then you live your life the fullest and how you should feel.
And
More
that's why I'm
fulfilled.
trying to build as many little Yonoski bots as possible and at least releasing them into the world.
Are you fulfilled though?
Hell no. I haven't been.
Yeah. So if that's not fulfilling.
Did you just ask me for my truck?
If you're not feeling fulfilled by doing these things, it's just time wasted.
It is fulfilling though. It's just not fulfilling when it gets to not the end, but it gets to the inevitable where there's not much more I can, or they realize what I'm doing and then I got to start all over again. But it's fulfilling along the journey.
Yeah, then you see the wins and you see the ups and you see the accomplishments happening.
But I've also built a lot of. But here's the thing, though. I also have built a lot of. That sounds like a narcissist. Hold on.
I feel a lot of girls who probably should be.
Oh my God.
No, it's not that, but it's also I believe I've helped a lot of them get to where they've wanted to be, where they've wanted to go.
And that's great. Did they now manipulate you into doing that?
Well, if I was getting what I wanted in the relationship, is it really manipulation?
But did it last? Are you still there? They got where they needed to go, and now they got there, and now it's done. Dr.
Andrews, we're done with me. I could only handle so much tonight. Jesus Christ. I don't even know what kind of person I'm gonna be next episode.
Yeah. You'll be like, guess what?
Back the same person on the streets.
I still tell you, you need to do Jordan. So next time we have you on, we're gonna have Jordan confess his feelings. Because I can see behind them little beady eyes that Jordan got a lot to say.
No, this is Ivy's time. And yours.
Oh. Did I surprise you a little bit? Did I surprise you?
I didn't think it was going to go down this path. I really didn't. But here we are. We
was asking her questions. The next thing you know, we flipped it on your ass, boy.
Well, when
she manipulated me.
She manipulated you?
They were expecting me before this whole collab house happened. They were expecting me to be some bimbo blonde who was just another girl coming in.
Oh, maybe they were like, give the reveal. No?
She's speaking bad.
It wasn't that. I'll say this from my perspective, Ivy. It wasn't that we thought you were going to be like some dumb blonde bimbo. It's just like it's always a breath of fresh air when there's a person in this industry that has like the wherewithals and being able to speak and articulate what they're saying in the way that you do. So me and Tech was just like, okay, she's more than some tits.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
so now that we've kind of let the cat out of the bag. So, Ivy,
yes,
can you let the audience know what your profession is, where they can find you and do what they need to do?
Absolutely. I am an adult creator. And I have some mainstream scenes. I have some personal scenes. I have some collaborations with other creators on my OnlyFans. I am an
Oh,
OnlyFans creator. I am in the line of the sex work community, and
Bow, bow,
we are
bow,
sex
bow.
positive. I am very kink and fetish friendly. I definitely would say I'm more open, as you can tell, with my emotions, with my sexuality, with a lot of things just from life and what it's thrown at me and what I've been able to figure out on my own through these experiences. And everything is a life lesson. Everything is not a waste of time. And things happen for a reason. Lessons happen for a reason, and it's helped me grow to the person that I am today. And it's helped me to be able to communicate with others and help them realize their worth and what they feel they can be and how they can be in their relationships by just sharing my experiences and how I've learned how to deal with and navigate and be able to figure out. But yeah, you can find me on my OnlyFans at Ivy Andrews. You can find me on Instagram at Ivy Andrews with three S's. And you can find me on X and Fansly and many things at Miss Ivy Andrews.
She got the link in her bio, y'all. She got the link in her bio. That's what you
check
got
it
to know.
out.
She got that link in that bio.
And if you ever want to do a fan shoot with me or meet for a lunch or dinner, I do shoot with my fans. It is something that not a lot of creators do, but you can do all of that and sign up for video calls on my website, ivyandrews.com.
What that was again,
I just
Ivy
got to just
Andrews?
sign up.
I really, really appreciate Miss Ivy for coming on Two Shades of Black.
I'm in.
And
Thanks for having me.
she became, she came, she conquered, she told. And
He
make
just
sure
keeps
y'all
going
like,
with the
comment,
C
and
word.
subscribe. Oh yeah. Make sure y'all like,
Coming,
comment, and
came.
subscribe. Make sure y'all come through. We gonna actually do a part 2, but we're gonna make it an OnlyFan conversation rather than the relationship side of thing. Because the one thing that I do want to know is, how does an OnlyFan, not an OnlyFan, I can't say OnlyFan because she don't only do OnlyFan. How does an adult content creator date in today's society, and all the questions that go with that? Because you know what,
That'll be part 2.
that could be my next project.
No, it ain't. You don't got it in you.
Miss Andrew, it was a pleasure. We will have you back in the future for sure. Thank you all for watching Two Shades of Black, and we'll catch y'all next time.
Bye.
See y'all.
You guys.